You're not burned out. If you were, the exhaustion would come from doing too much, from working too hard for too long. But look at your day. You open the laptop, you stare at the document, and then, almost automatically, you reach for your phone. You scroll for a few minutes, maybe check another tab, maybe get a snack, and suddenly the discomfort is gone. It feels like relief, but it isn't rest. What you're experiencing isn't burnout. It's a loop, a very specific psychological loop, the avoidance loop. And once you see it, it becomes hard to unsee. It starts with discomfort. A task appears, maybe writing, studying, making a decision. And immediately, something inside you resists. The work feels heavy, boring, threatening. So your brain does what brains are very good at doing. It looks for relief. You check something, anything, just not the task. And the moment you escape, the discomfort disappears. You feel better. For a moment. That's the third step in the loop. Relief. A small hit of dopamine. A signal that the threat is gone, but the task is still there. And now something new appears. Guilt. You know the work hasn't moved. You know you postponed it. So the next time you look at it, the discomfort is even stronger. And the loop tightens. Discomfort, distraction, relief, guilt, again, and again, and again. The strange part is that this cycle is more exhausting than the work itself. Because avoidance burns energy without producing progress. And over time, something deeper begins to happen. Your brain starts learning the wrong lesson. It learns that relief should come without effort. That dopamine should arrive instantly. Through scrolling, notifications, tiny distractions. This is what people call cheap dopamine. But the kind of dopamine that actually builds confidence works differently. It only appears after effort, after friction, after finishing something difficult. And when your brain gets used to cheap rewards, friction starts to feel unbearable. Even small tasks feel overwhelming, not because they are impossible, but because your tolerance for discomfort has slowly shrunk. So the avoidance continues, and the more you avoid, the more your confidence erodes. The task starts to look bigger, heavier, more threatening. Until eventually, you're not just avoiding the work, you're avoiding the feeling of incompetence. And that's where the most dangerous part of the loop appears. Identity. If you call this burnout, the story becomes simple. You are exhausted, overworked, a victim of too much pressure. And the solution is rest, sympathy, lower expectations. But if you call it what it actually is, avoidance, then the story changes. Because avoidance isn't an identity. It's a behavior. And behaviors can change. Burnout says something is happening to you. Avoidance says something is being done by you. One identity asks for comfort, the other demands responsibility. And that difference matters more than it seems. Because you cannot rest your way out of avoidance. Rest only works when exhaustion comes from effort. If the exhaustion comes from escape, rest simply resets the loop. So the next time you say you're burned out, look a little closer. Because the task is still there, waiting. And the real question isn't whether you're tired. The real question is much simpler. If it's burnout, rest. But if it's avoidance, start.